You want to come in, Cass? You can't actually, bud. Good morning. Good morning. Just getting everything set up, getting things set up on multiple channels. So just give me a second. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, so we're just going to give it a minute and let everyone settle in. And yeah, it's nice and warm it's nice and warm outside. It's actually gorgeous out. And soon I'll do my lives on Saturdays in the morning when we do our global meditations. We'll do them outside because I think that would be really enjoyable. I really like doing my lives outside, actually. When I was in Costa Rica, that was one of my favorite things about it, is that there's this huge covered deck. And then in the other space, I used to create a space outside for myself every day so that I could go outside. And I'll do the same here. The front of the house is shady in the morning. It's just going to start to get bright. So I would definitely set it up in the back of the house. The backyard, nice and bright sun. Okay. That is not super hot. All right, let me see if my phone will finally let me into YouTube, or that YouTube will actually load. Hello, hello. How are you? Yay, it loaded. Hello, hello. How are you? Okay, oh yeah, we're in the right one. Okay. I don't know. Apparently when you're on YouTube, when you're on TikTok, you can only hear the music when I'm speaking. And when I'm not speaking, no music. Which is the opposite of what it is on Zoom, where Zoom would only pick up the music when you're not speaking. As soon as you speak, it cuts the music out. I think StreamYard does okay, though. But we're going to do the collective energy check-in, and then we are going to do the global meditation. Okay, I'm going to just share out on Facebook that I'm live now, so that those individuals will know. Actually, we'll do this. We're just trying to share it on Facebook to alert people that we are live. So I'm going to share it to the group, to my group. And I'm going to share it to my other group because I have a couple groups. Let's do calm spaces. Hi, the Shredder. I don't know if you showed up here or if you just passed on by, but hello, hello. Okay, so we're going to do an energy check-in, and then once we do the energy check-in, we'll have a little check-in on you, right? Because the energy check-in that I'm going to do is using the cards, and it's the collective energy. So we'll do that. I just want to close down Facebook because I did my post. I shared the live. I don't have to do anything else. It just becomes a distraction then. And if you limit the input that you're receiving, you will reduce the overwhelm that you experience. It's a lot of us don't even realize how much of our overwhelm is because of all the information that's constantly coming in. We don't spend very much time just sitting in silence and, being in peace, or not engaged in some element of something, right? Like we're either watching TV, on our phone, scrolling on social media, right? Like there's very few times. I mean, maybe you're different, and I hope that you are. I hope that you're someone that meditates or takes mindful moments, right? They don't have to be elaborate. At least start out with something like 5 to 10 minutes a day. You have 1,440 minutes, 1,440 minutes a day, right? 1,440 minutes a day. So I think you can take like 5 or 10 out for yourself to have like a little mindful moment, or to sit with yourself in silence, to disconnect from everything and everyone, right? That should be something that you can do. Give yourself that beautiful little 5 to 10 minutes a day of your time, your alone time. No phone, no phone. That's not alone time. That's not the quality time that you want, right? The quality time is with you. No input, no input. So your system can, return to balance instead of being, hi, beautiful Canada. I do agree. Canada is beautiful. I've traveled all the way from coast to coast. Yeah. Well, I went all the way as far as Nova Scotia, and I've obviously been all the way to Vancouver and to Victoria Island, but okay, so we're just going to give it a minute for some of the regulars to show up, and then I'm going to I'm going to do the check-in. Okay, we'll do the check-in. Hello, hello. Okay, so I gave myself a few likes on there. I'll give myself a few likes on here, right? I used to do that all the time. I used to tap on the screen a couple of times before, like at the beginning of my live. And I don't know if that penalizes you in any way on TikTok. Don't know. But I used to say it in the sense of like, you have to love yourself first, which is true. You do. You really do. You have to apply. You have to, how you treat you is going to reflect on how you treat everybody else around you. And people will say, well, no. I treat other people better than I treat me. Well, that's sad right there. All right, let's see if my tea still has some heat in it. Barely. All right, let's get this keyboard out of the way since we don't really need it. We're going to grab the cards out. We'll do the collective check-in. So this one, we're doing the collective energy check-in. We're looking at the collective. This is not individual. What you may find when you are listening, though, is that some parts of it apply to you and other parts of it apply to people around you. So just listen to the message that's coming up as it comes up. Now, I need to do something before I start, though. I don't know if I have a lighter in here anymore. And I just broke my matches. Oh, wait, I think I have a box of matches. Never mind. I forgot I have extra matches. We've got matches. It's hard to, you know what? No. All righty. Playing with fire here, guys. I'm actually lighting Palo Santo. I'm going to clean the cards before I use them. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to wrap the cards in Palo Santo, cleansing and clearing and aligning for this reading. Okay. All right. Could knock any other bits out of there. All right, let's see what's happening for the collective. Good morning. All right, and please do say hi. Tell me where you're from. We're meant to have conversation, okay? All righty. Can I get a message for the collective? This is the collective energy. What are we experiencing right now? Ooh, that one flipped right over and sat in the deck upside down. We're gonna deal with this card first. So this is the Eight of Ether. The Eight of Ether is the path of ascension, right? So when we're looking at, this is my custom tarot deck. it has 5 suits. It has the ether suit. So this is the Etherian tarot, and it has, like I said, the 5th suit, the ether suite, the ether suit. The 8 of ether, this is about our ascension, our evolution. This is our trend, that this is what we came here to do. When we're looking at the 8, this is about that mastery, refinement. It's, this is where we come to terms with things. So this upright position would have been the ascension, but because it came in the inverted, it's talking about, and we see this, there's a lot of people that are resistant to change. There's a lot of individuals that feel like this is just who I am, this is who I'm always going to be, and nothing's going to be ever different. And so they remain the same. And that's that refusal to change. And sometimes it's because they don't understand that they can change, because nobody taught them that that was a possible thing. Or they've identified with an aspect of them, so they believe that because of that identity, they can't change, right? So this is the card that's that resistance to change, and this is on the spiritual level. And I did just see 1010. So this is fear of stepping forward, right? And many of us are there right now, right? We've seen this release of information. It's been shocking, release of information. And many people are in their own spaces going, oh, this is right. But nobody's stepping forward. Nobody's stepping forward and saying like, this needs to stop, or this needs to change, or this is how we need to do this. Because, there's that being the outcast, right? We've really been conditioned to think that we need to be a part of the collective. And, so much so that if we're not a part of the collective, the information is that you will just not survive, right? That's the way that it's portrayed anyway, but that's not the case, right? So there is solitude. There is that element of being very reflective, being internal. And that's an important time, that inner wisdom that you have, that's only accessible when you allow the noise around you to silence. And so this is feeling lost or uncertain in spiritual evolution. And so many people right now are absolutely spiritually exhausted, because they've been doing activation after activation and this experience after that experience. And meanwhile, they just need to embody it. And once you embody it, then, it's a totally different thing. And it's not about these crazy moments. It's about how you show up day after day after day. We're not meant to ascend out of our bodies while we incarnate into the 3rd dimension. While we're living in the 3rd dimension, we are having a physical experience, right? We are multidimensional. We exist in multi dimensions at the same time. So you are already, if you are, if your heart chakra is open and you're living in unity consciousness, you're already in the 5th dimension, right? It's not about you need to leave your body to go anywhere. You don't. That's what we incarnated for. So the physical matters is what I'm getting at. Your human experience matters. But so we've been in this space of like, there's a lot of spiritual people out there that are telling us, these certain things and leading people astray. They're telling people, just to, avoid the body, go to the spirit. There's all this love and light. Let's bypass our emotions, like all of that stuff. And we're not meant to do that. I was a registered nurse for 20 years, over 20 years actually. And I also am someone who is very mystical and esoteric, and I look at energy and quantum, and I study physics and all kinds of different things. So, but there's a combination, and we're meant to do that. We're meant to bring the two together. It's not one or the other. And right now we have a lot of people in society that are living in it's only what you can see, you can feel, you can hear, you can touch, you can taste, right? If you can't find it with those 5 senses, or if science can't tell you exactly how to duplicate it or something, then we end up in the situation where we just don't believe it. Right. And, you can say to people, well, there's lots of things that you can't measure. You can't measure my love for somebody. You can't tell me how much that love is. You couldn't tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how much that love is. You can't tell me the pain that I feel due to my traumas. You can't determine those things. That doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? So we have to recognize that there's an element of mystery in life, and that's what the mystic elements are, right? We're looking at that element of energy, the ether element, and the spiritual concepts. But we're not meant to be constantly chasing all of these big experiences. Like, we're not meant to be doing like ayahuasca journeys all the time. We're not meant to be it's about the lived experience. And again, we're not meant to escape the body for the spirit. The other card that came out is the Six of Fire, and that Six of Fire is triumph and recognition. And I think that a lot of us are feeling very victorious right now. We're seeing success happen. We're starting to get recognized for the things that we're doing. Maybe you're somebody like me. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Maybe you're somebody like me, and you're starting to see the results after putting in all of that work. You're starting to be celebrated, or you're starting to be seen as, the authority in whatever field that you started. There's this public acknowledgement that's happening, and this rising above those fear, right? Before, maybe there was some fear of, being in the spotlight, but that's gone now. You've worked beyond that. And we are seeing that. We're seeing a lot of people rise up now and step forward and start these new companies, or start, write books, or they're doing all of these fantastic things, starting communities, or, other things that they're creating. And it's wonderful to see them step up. Or you're seeing people that you have been working alongside, in the sense of, in this spiritual space, you end up interacting with a lot of the same spiritual people, and you start to see other people within your connections, seeing them getting recognized, and you're like, finally, at last, right? Last year seemed to be a very quiet year, and I think a lot of us in the spiritual community, especially those of us with smaller fronts, like with smaller fan bases, I guess. Not that I want to call it a fan base, but followers. There we go. We have a smaller follower number. That was hard to say together. For those of us that are from that particular type of a space with the smaller followers, I think for a lot of us, we saw a very quiet year last year, but it was the year of the snake. So there was that shedding of everything. All right, what else is happening? I think we're just going to do a short reading for today. All right. Ooh, we've got the 10 of Earth. So a lot of people right now are experiencing this fear of loss or instability. And this is where we're talking about finances or anything that's attached to your worth. And unfortunately, for many people, they have had their worth put outside of them for so long, because they were taught that they were only as good as their accomplishments. They were only worthwhile if they were producing something, and we still have that bias in society. It's still fairly significant. Many people who are homeless, and sometimes through no fault of their own, in fact, but many people who are homeless, they are looked at as derelicts, right? It's like, you just didn't try hard enough. You didn't work hard enough. You didn't do enough, right? And, it makes it seem like that their value is tied to what they produce, and that they should only have a house, or they should only have food if you work hard enough, right? And that's not the way that we should be. Right? I've always firmly believed that we should be like all the animals that live here too, right? And that we don't have to pay for anything that's a necessity of life. But that's a personal belief. So a lot of people are feeling that, where maybe they're seeing short-term gains, but those short-term gains aren't staying. Hello, how are you? How are you, Carolyn? How are things going for you? So they're seeing like short-term gains, but it's not stabilizing. And the reason why they're short-term gains and it's not stabilized is because your nervous system isn't ready to hold the capacity of what you have. So that's, if you're working, and Carolyn can understand this, and being a business owner, right? If you're working at your company and someone said, oh, I've got 100 clients for you to take immediately. If you feel yourself go inside, or you feel tension, or you feel like, this tightening or pressure or anxiety, or you like literally like want to step away from it, That's your body telling you that you're not ready to hold that capacity, right? You can listen to, when you listen to your body, you start to hear a lot more and understand a lot more about you, which is why what I teach is embodied spirituality and or embodied wisdom, because it has to be embodied. It has to be in the physical realm. So when we're looking at this, I lost my train of thought. I actually like literally lost my train of thought on that. Some of us are feeling disconnected from our lineage. That's also what the 10 of Earth represents, as being disconnected from your lineage. And we see that because there's been a lot of destruction of the family unit, right? We see that out in society. I mean, I was talking about it the other day about what happened with all of like politics as it rose up in the States, and how many people were like, well, I'm not going to be friends with you. I'm going to divorce you. I'm not even, you're not your daughter anymore, and to disown you, like how politically divided people became, right? So we are seeing that, where there's that disconnection from our families, from our ancestors, you know, the breakdown of the family unit. That's very clear out there. And that means that when things go wrong, you don't have anyone to fall back on. Right? We think, oh, you know, like if I build a tribe of friends, that will be good enough. And fair enough, you can build a really nice tribe with your friends. But the people that tend to stick around is like your mom. You know, you can all, for many of us, not all of us, there's many out there that cannot rely on their mom. But for many of us, we know if it really, really got bad enough that our parents would be there, or that our siblings would be there. But when you don't have those for whatever reason, whether that's loss or is through, you know, the destruction of the family unit or the divide of politics or anything else, right? That's a significant loss, and that can really make things much more unstable or unstable. They needed to make it unstable or instability, or, you know, like, because why make it instability but make it unstable? That's just rude. Don't like why they had to make language the way they did. That's my complaint today, Carolyn. Why is it instability and unstable? Right? Like, it's on purpose, because then you have to kind of think, really, I'm just kidding. All right. So we've got this, and we've also got a lot of financial mismanagement, and we are seeing that. We are seeing that all around the world. I think every country that we're in, we are seeing financial mismanagement, and in many of the homes and many individuals. And remember, we're talking about this as a collective energy. So in a lot of individuals right now, they are experiencing that difficulty financially. We have the Four of Fire coming out. So the Four of Fire is our beautiful Four of Wands. And that is the card of completion and success. It's like the 1111 card, right? The four little wands. So on one side, we've got this group of people who are excelling in this time, right? Aww, how lovely, right? How lovely. Like in a moment, like when it's needed, sometimes, you know, like when your back's against the wall, they'll be there, right? But that's not necessarily true with your friends, right? And I've had friends come and go in my lifetime. I've had friends I thought were never going to leave. I had people that I thought were soul family, right? I thought that they were the most profound connections, and yet they weren't. They left, right? And so, you know, your family is the ones that they will, at the end of the day, they'll be there for you typically. And I know that's not speaking to every situation, and your situation is your situation, right? And you know, if you need help with that, I can help you with it. But let's get back. Yes. And they would check in on you and make sure that you're okay as well. I have my small group of friends that I know, you know, I know my friends that'll be there. And then I have, you know, my family, and it's not perfect, but I do know, you know, I know my mom will always be there for me. I don't like, she may not be able to help anything, right? Like she may not be able to fix the situation, but she'd be there for me. And that's a big thing, right? Like even just knowing that they're there, even if they can't fix anything or do anything, but just knowing that they're there for you, that's a big thing. I got emotional when I said that because I realized how much of a trauma that was for me to move through with my mom. And we did that this last little bit. Oh, I remember. We were hanging. I was doing my lives much more frequently then, and yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah. My mom is 69, and she's young, right? Like compared to what many people's moms are, especially at my age. Many people's moms would be much older than 69. Um, so yeah, she was a young mom, and yeah, she ended up taking me in so that I didn't end up homeless, so that I could keep pursuing my dream. And when we spent that time together, we did a lot of healing. And so, the time when I almost became homeless was the time that my mom and I repaired our relationship. So some of the worst things can lead you to the best moments. Yeah, yours was the complete opposite. My mom had me, she was 17. Yeah, she's in Ontario. So we're a little ways away from each other right now. So I'll take them. Take them all, and I'll give it right back to you. Nice big squishy ones. All right. So we've got victory and success. We've got that rising above energies. And it seems like there's like almost these, you're seeing a lot of people who aren't working with their shadows. They haven't done their healing journey. They're not doing any of that. And their lives are becoming very disruptive and chaotic. And it's like, because life will keep spiraling downward until you hit your point where you say enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of, behaving this way. I'm tired of whatever it is. And then you decide enough is enough, and you start doing the things to change. But a lot of times in society, they're pushing a quick fix, right? Did you know that on social media, especially on TikTok, they shortened videos to 7 seconds? They were really promoting 7-second long videos. And the reason why they were doing that was to condition your attention to be 7 seconds or less. So then when it comes to something educational, it's really hard for you to learn something if your attention spans 7 seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to think about that, like how your worldviews or how you're being conditioned or shaped or changed because of things that you're interacting with. So, read a book, go watch a long form content, like actually get yourself to do that, where you actually sit and watch something that's more educational and teaching you something. And I challenge you to watch it at 1 speed, not 2 speed. Not 1.5 speed, 1 speed, without feeling like you have to run away from it, because we're so hardwired to go, do. It's very, very seldom that we sit and just be. Okay. So we got that 6 of fire. We got the triumphant on this side. We've got the stuff that's going, rough for other people on the other side. And then we have the Hierophant in the shadow. And what this is talking about is spiritual rigidity. And many of us can become very rigid. And I've seen that in the spiritual community, because we'll be talking about things in a group where people claim to be enlightened, and they will be name calling and derogatory and rude. And then that's not enlightened. That's not enlightened. Some people get so like, that's one way and it's only this way. And if it's not this way, then you are absolutely wrong. And even if that was true, because there are certain things where there is a truth, there is the truth, right? Like no matter what, we can look at an accident, a car accident, and we can say this person's perspective and that person's perspective and this witness and that witness and da 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 da. But no matter what, at the end of the day, there really is the truth of what happened, right? If it was completely recorded from every angle, from every perspective, and and you had like the full emotional and all that stuff. You had everything, all the information that you could get the truth of what happened. So there is the truth, right? There is the truth. But for many of us, even if you know the truth, people aren't going to come to the truth if you're beating them over the head with it. They're going to be like, well, that's not the truth, because why do you have to force me to believe it? Right? So people need to understand that the more that they try, and I understand that people can get frustrated, especially if it's something where it is the absolute truth and it's known, right? It'd be like, and even saying something like this, if I said like the sky is blue, yeah, but what is your idea of what is blue, right? Is your idea of blue this color here, right? Or do you see blue differently? So because of that, right, there's so many I can't even say that's absolutely truly blue because what do you see for blue could be different. And so there's, but if we were to look at something that we know is the truth, right? The absolute truth, you have to be birthed into the world. That's an absolute truth. And let's say somebody was like, no, you don't. You don't have to be birthed into the world. You can come into the world, blah, 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 blah. You yelling at them, the only way that you can, that's not going to convince them that you're right, right? But you can understand where when the truth is met with absurdity, that people can become frustrated. But when that frustration leads back in, that's just leading other people to believe that it's not true. Because why are you getting so upset? Right. So we need to understand that. We need to understand that. And there's no room. At the end, there is no room if you're not in unity consciousness. If you can't sit and believe to be in that space of love, that love, right? And not treating people terribly. There's a lot of that going on out there. The other thing about the Hierophant when it's in the inverted position is it's about questioning beliefs. And many of us are. As disclosure after disclosure comes out, people have to question what they've been taught, right? We had a lot of stuff come out with the Epstein files, and then we follow after that. Now we're getting the UAP, UFO, whatever they call it. I don't know. They change the acronyms all the time. That's just, ridiculous. So, but they're releasing that about aliens and stuff, right? That's the disclosure stuff that's happening now. And, it's makes us all question our beliefs, right? And really we're being inundated with all kinds of information that is, opposing the system, or opposing our belief system, opposing our, cognitive biases. And this is inundating us, and it's really making a lot of people in society very confused. And we're also, the other element of that card though is breaking free, because we're breaking free from those outdated traditions. So we're starting to see that the stuff that we've been learning, or the ways that we've been taught, or the truth, like the stuff that we've been told about, say, maybe our origin or about other things, that's not as real as we thought it was, because of all this stuff. Like when you start searching into what's been disclosed, you start to understand like, what is the truth anymore? And so that's what ends up happening with that Hierophant, as we start to go in and we start to seek the truth beyond those conventional systems. And many people are doing that. So that's the energy. So do you feel like you're on the side of, in the reality? And like I said, we all have our individual reality, and then there's the collective shared reality, which is the combination of all of our beliefs. And when we are in our individual reality, my individual reality, I can get up every day and it can be quiet, it can be loving, somebody else's day, they get up and they're, extremely abundant, and, they have like millions of dollars, and they're traveling around the world, and they have no cares in the world, and they don't even really work, and somebody else is getting up and, they're stressed and overwhelmed, and things are just really adding up and beating them up, and they're really disillusioned by the world right now. Like you can see that where you're seeing all these different like individual realities, but first there's a kind of overlying or a theme, right? Where some are seeming to have a more smoother pathway, whereas others are having a more rough or turbulent time right now. What's going to determine whether you're in the smoother space, like if you're going into a nice river or you're running down the rapids, is whether or not you have done healing. Do you have a toolkit? Like it's just how is your nervous system able to handle the stuff that's coming at you at this time? There. How is that for our collective reading? We're going to do the meditation right shortly here. I do want to grab out a couple of cards from my other deck. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We just, like, I think there's, like when we're looking at what's happening in the world right now, it's kind of, it can make you sit and go, like, how much time do we really have? Right. And, like if you're, I used to talk about this for many years. I used to be like, if you're, yeah, like operate in it's miracles and good stuff happens and stuff like that. I used to talk about it like if you're somebody that's an atheist and you believe that it's one and done, why not just live the best life that you can? Because it's one and done. You might as well do everything that have the best life that you possibly can. If you're somebody that believes in heaven and hell, well, then you want to have the best life that you can so that you can end up in heaven. If you're someone that believes that you're on spiritual evolution and that the whole reason you incarnate into this dimension is to evolve your soul and to also evolve the soul of Mother Gaia, to raise the vibration, whatever, then you want to have your best life. And if you're looking at the way that they're really pushing the information in mass media right now, and I don't watch the news, I get stuff pop up on my feed or friends send me stuff occasionally that keeps me cued into what's going on in society. So I'm not completely unaware. I'm quite aware of what's going on. But when you're looking at all of that stuff, it's like, so what is it? Is it going to be an alien attack? Is it going to be a world war? Is it going to be how is this all ending? Right. And when is it ending? Right. Like there's a lot of that energy that they're putting out there to give that. Now in my world here, it's peaceful, it's wonderful, it's lovely, it's amazing. Right. And, in doing the roles that I do, it's wonderful, it's awesome. But like I said, if you're looking at that, well, if that gives you the feeling, if all of that stuff that's going on gives you the feeling of there's not a lot of time, then you might as well be living your best time. You might as well be having the most fun. And that's not about not making sure that you're not looking towards tomorrow, but it is, making sure that you're doing a bit more. Yeah, I do not listen to it. Nope. There's too much of them trying to get you to think a certain way rather than giving you the news from a unbiased perspective. It is, yeah, in Canada we have measures on our social media so that we're not allowed to see news on Facebook and Instagram, and we're not allowed to share news articles. We're only allowed to, apparently we're supposed to only have their news. Right. Here you can turn on ours and you can probably flip between the stations and they're all saying the exact same script. It's sad. They're not as much anymore though. I shouldn't say that. We've seen a little bit of difference recently, but for a long time they were just constantly saying the same things. I dropped a couple. Let me get them. Okay. We have the compassionate view. This really actually aligns with exactly what I was talking about earlier. About, we have to be looking at things from the, I felt like I sat on my, just, yeah, anyway. Something's not aligned right. I can feel it. It's my, right? If we can look at things from that compassionate space, right? That's a much more powerful way. If we can look at it with hope, with positivity, right? With positivity towards the future. That's why I don't watch the news, because I don't want to put my attention on that thing. I'd rather put my attention on that out there, this in here, and helping you guys, or, like helping to remind you of who and what you are, or giving you ways to help your nervous system. That's what I would rather be doing. I'd rather be helping the homeless. I would rather be, doing those activities, or talking to my friends or my family, rather than watching the news or watching, that type of stuff. I don't watch much TV at all, actually. I tend to, and if I do, it's typically comedy or children's stuff. But then I'm still even cautious about that because, yeah. Anyway, I don't watch a lot of TV. So let us look at it with hope. Let us look at it with positivity, right? Let us look towards the future. It's one thing to be informed, but it's another thing to be overwhelmed or inundated. And we have to keep our discernment high to make sure that we're aware of what the truth is versus what is being told to us so we believe a certain thing. So the affirmation, I meet life with compassion. Remembrance. Compassion reduces harshness without removing clarity. It allows understanding while maintaining boundaries. Compassion is not just do what you want because you're doing it out of kindness. And some of us think that. We think, well, as long as I'm acting in love, I'm in the best interest for that person. But we're not, like, they're their own person, right? We are not meant to determine that we know what's best for other people, right? So holding them with compassion still means upholding boundaries, and those boundaries can be emotional or physical or mental, right? So the practice is to reframe one judgment, state a kinder interpretation, and keep your boundary. All right, the second card that came out is the guide. Affirmation. Guidance appears when I'm open to it. It does. It's that old saying. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And maybe it's here. Hi. Hello. All right. So guidance appears when I am open to it is the affirmation. The remembrance. Guidance can be subtle and ordinary. Attention determines access. Patterns, people, and timing all inform direction. The practice is to ask for guidance, stay observant, and then record one signal you notice. Because if you don't ask your spirit team for help, they won't intervene. They're not going to intervene into the physical because you in the physical have free will, which is why when we're looking at spiritual embodiment, and we're looking at it from the aspect of, because we have incarnated into a physical space, we need to have physical consent from that person. We don't just operate in the spiritual without their knowing, without their understanding. If you do, you have to do it in a specific way where you are saying it's only in that individual's highest best. And, there's consequences if you don't. Like if you intervene in somebody else thinking that you know better, you know what's right for them, then you tie yourself up in karma because you're not getting their consent. So please make sure that you're getting consent if you're doing energy healing, if you are doing tarot readings, right? To do a general collective reading, that's entirely different. To do a reading that shows up on your timeline when it's ready, again, that's different. But for me to take and go and say, I'm going to do a reading on Carolyn's life, that's not up to me to know what's going on in your life. Same thing with astral projection. I can astral project to look at a space, to go look at, say I wanted to astral project and look at the pyramids in Egypt. That's fine, but I shouldn't be astral projecting and looking at other people. I shouldn't be doing assessments on other people without their consent, right? Where's the authority? What authority do I have to do that, right? And so anyway, just to think about that. So the guidance appears when you are open to it. Your team will not intervene unless you ask them to. And if you are going to bypass the human, always make sure that you are saying that you are doing this in combination with their higher self or their oversoul, and it's only the best in alignment with that individual and their free will, right? Okay. Let's see if we can get one more card from the 44 keys of the way. Whoa. Apparently they wanted to give us a bunch. Let me see. Do we want all of these? Well, they're cute ones. I'll say that. Well, it's really interesting because they're all alluding to kind of the same way. All right. So we've got the trial. Okay. And life is challenging, right? Challenges are what refine your strength. So let me try to give a good example of this. A way that puts it in a really great way. You know, if I keep choosing emotionally unavailable people, right, then I'm going to constantly not have my partner meet my needs, right? And not that my partner has to meet my needs, I have to meet my own needs. It's like whatever. But when we're looking at this the thing that I'm giving you, this example. We will keep seeing that until we become emotionally available to us. That's what the trials are, right? So this would be, I'm going to keep having these partners that are emotionally unavailable until I realize I'm the one that's not being emotionally available to me, or there's some other underlying trauma, shadow, inner child work that needs to be done so that you overcome that. So those things that are showing up consistently in your life, they're showing up for a reason. It's for you to get over them, to grow beyond them, to work beyond them, to heal some aspect. So the challenges are what allow us to grow, and it's what actually gives us strength. Okay. So difficulty exposes structure. What holds under pressure is what is real. Trials are feedback, not verdicts. Skill grows through response. So the practice is to name one challenge, extract one lesson, and apply it once today. Okay. The rest of these are all about taking the first step, maintaining a gentle pace. The path is clear, but it is unknown. Okay. And that's the way that it is. We have to be willing to take that first step on the unknown path, knowing that we're going to be okay, and just consistently continue along that path, right? It's what you show up with doing every day that's going to create your future. Hello, how are you? Been a while since I saw you on here. How are you doing, White Buffalo? All right, so we're going to do a meditation, but I wanted to check in with everybody first. How are you feeling now, Carolyn? Is your health okay? Yay! That's amazing. That's amazing. You're listening to your health. You're listening to your body. Right? That's amazing. Nice. Nice. Well done. Well done. That's good for listening to yourself, right? And we should be. You're sore and looking for a place for daughter and I. Oh, that's tough, hey? Yep. Yeah. Take rest. Listen to your body and take rest when you need to. But fill it up with the things that make you feel joy. Definitely. I love that. Little bits of creativity every day can make a significant difference, right? So we're just about ready to get started on our I love it. I love it. My mom in as she never did when I was a child. I was always very creative. I wrote and I drew and I did all of these things. I love you. I love you. But yeah, we used to do all these, but she didn't do anything creative until she was a senior actually, and she started making cards and absolutely loves it. All right, so before we hop into, no, you know what? Something's telling me to read it, so I'm going to read it. I'm getting a nudge. I got to do it. We're going to read it. All right, so this is the channeled message that came through today, and I asked to speak to Source, and this is what came through. You chose this. You chose this life to incarnate into this dense reality, and you do it for Mama and all her children. She calls you and you come. You didn't come here to get good grades or make millions. You came here to evolve your soul and save Mama and her children. All life, the trees, the birds, the plants, and animals are her children. You have to, sorry, sometimes it's hard for me to read the things. Read my own writing. When I'm channeling, I do automatic writing, and it can be really hard to read my writing after I've done it. You have free will. You have the ability to make different choices too. Ones that will change your life, and ones that will change others' lives, and some that will change the world. You just have to choose. And the choice is this. Choose Source, God, every time. Choose love, choose light, choose eternal Source, that flame that burns in your chest. Align to my will, align with truth, and walk it into form. I gave you your spirit, Mama gave you your body. You need both to be coherent, aligned, in order for Mama to receive. Bring my love and light to her, to all life, to every space on this planet. Light it up. Send out love. Pour it into every nook and cranny, every crevice, every cell, every atom, down to the very strings that make you things. So that was the message this morning. So I don't know if somebody needed to hear that, because it was not going to stop until I read it. So who is ready to meditate? Who is ready to have a wonderful meditation? This we're gonna do some work with some sacred geometry. Pull out my picture. Okay, we're gonna do some work with some sacred geometry on this. We are going to do a little bit for ourselves, but it's global. So we're going to be meditating on peace, love, unity, and truth. And in the center of the circle is the flower of life. I'm showing you this because this is one of the symbols that we use. Okay. And if you notice, if I can pull this up high enough, we'll be able to do it on all of them. Okay. If you notice where the two circles cross, it creates this space here, that shape. That's a Vesica Pisces. Okay, so now you have two shapes. You have one that's shaped kind of like that. Poor example of it. All right, and then if you know what a Merkaba is, then you have the third shape that you will need in this meditation. Okay, so we'll start with the instructions that I always start with for all of my meditations, which is make sure that you're seated in a safe space and that your device is in a safe space. That way there, if you happen to fall asleep or you just lose control of your hand, it gets a little bit light, then you won't drop your phone or your device and break it. So put your device securely, yourself securely. You should stay awake through the meditation because it's one where you are going to be actively participating in it. It's not one that, it's just really quiet and you're going to want to stay awake anyway. All righty. How is everybody doing? When I do my meditations, I channel them. And if you have anything that you want to address, then drop it in the comments right now, and I'll see what I can do about addressing that during our meditation. The only other thing that you're going to need to remember to do is you're going to be the breathing. And we're going to breathe in nice and slow through our nose, all the way into our tummy, up to our chest, pause at the top, and then exhale through our mouth, nice and long. We want to make sure that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Now, you can breathe at the same rate that I am, like follow along with me, or you can breathe at your own rate. Just make sure that the exhale is longer than the inhale and that you are, in fact, engaging your abdomen, because we want the diaphragm engaged. Okay. All right. Give me a couple of seconds to get the music queued up. Plus, it'll also put a nice little pause so I know where to catch this when I want to snip out this piece of the recording. All right, the music shouldn't be too loud because, I think it cuts out on TikTok anyway. It cuts out when I speak, or it's one of them. I don't know. They're different. I think you guys will hear the music nicely up there. All right, so we'll go through just a standard one then, since nobody wants to share today. You're all being quiet. So we'll just go through the standard meditation and we'll touch on, do the global. I'm glad I waited long enough for this. On TikTok, you have to do a puzzle at some point. And when I channel, I like to close my eyes. And if I do that, I'll miss the puzzle and we won't end up, I'll end up getting shut down. So if I give just a minute for this one to give me its puzzle, so I know it's not going to come in when I close my eyes. Remember, we're just going to be closing our eyes. We're going to be breathing in nice and slow and deep and exhaling even slower. We are going to be focusing on peace, unity, love, and truth for the collective. Okay. I'm just going to keep my eye on this. I don't want to make us wait any longer. Okay. All right. I think everybody's here and everybody's ready. Now, when you're seated, make sure that you're seated upright, that your spine is elongated, and that your chest is open. That will expand your breathing as well. Okay, and you can just gently close your eyes. And we're going to begin with a nice long breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow yourself to settle in this moment, initially applying your awareness to your feet. Take another breath in, nice and deep. And release. Allow yourself to sink even deeper into the space that comes up. Raise your awareness to your seat and how it's connecting to your chair. Deep breath in and out. Sinking even deeper into that space, allowing yourself to relax even further. Bring your awareness to your heart. Nice breath in and out. Another breath in and out. And one final breath in and out, allowing yourself to sink even further. And out. I'm going to surround us in protection now. This beautiful golden orb The only thing allowed in that is aligned with pure source, divine laws, Mother Gaia, and your highest, whoever is here and present, your highest good. Allow yourself to continue to breathe nice and slow, keeping yourself in that beautiful state. We're going to begin by grounding into Mother Gaia. Your light energy is going to ground into her through her ley lines, that beautiful field, crystalline grid. And as we ground into the crystalline grid, we become this beautiful sacred node upon her soul. We're going to open ourselves up about 6 to 12 inches above our head, our soul star chakra. And as we open it up, pure source light is going to pour through and fill your entire toroidal field, your entire body, every cell, every atom, all the way down into the things that make you strings. Allow it to fill the spaces in between. This pure source light is clearing anything that is not aligned. It's removing any lies, distortions, connections, anything that is not aligned or anything that was made in false, to false matrices, to fallen watchers, to distortion grids, to AIs. Any connection that is not aligned with pure source energy is being cleared from you and anyone else who's participating. Allow it to pour through your entire field, from head to toe, through all your energetic bodies, all 7 layers. And once you're clear of all distortion and all lies, manipulations, false contracts, any entities or distortions that are attached to you, that's when we're going to bring in the flower of life. Sacred geometry is more than just design. It carries embedded within it divine laws. And the law that the flower of life carries is the original divine organic blueprint. So as we pass this through ourselves and eventually Mother Gaia, we are restoring ourselves to our original divine organic blueprint, down to every cell. Allow it to flow from head to toe through your energetic bodies, through your entire toroidal field. See it being imprinted on every cell. See it in your mitochondria. See it on your atoms. See it in the space between everything. As it passes through your body, it's releasing you from pain, discomfort, where it is no longer aligned in your highest good. It's important to remember that pain is a powerful motivator. We need to look at more than just the physical aspect of pain, because those stories that it's telling us through our energetic bodies are sometimes the reason why the pain is there. And if we just looked into that, we'd move beyond it. And that's why the only pain we remove today is that which is in the highest good, of your highest good. As that moves through, the next thing that we're going to do is focus on our highest timeline. You'll see it before you as a beautiful golden tube of light, a string that stretches out. It is vibrant, it is pulsing, it's electric. Your highest timeline is so much brighter and bolder than all the rest. The other timelines around it fade away. You're going to envision yourself now inside a beautiful Merkaba. This Merkaba is golden. And as you sit inside this Merkaba, it begins to spin. And if you're unfamiliar with what a Merkaba is, I'll explain it, but your body and soul already know. A Merkaba is a pyramid nesting inside an upside down pyramid. And you are sitting within it. It is spinning, and it spins faster and faster. And as it does, it offers protection from any further interference into your field. This is your light body vehicle. And as you focus on your divine highest timeline unfolding before you, sitting within your Merkaba, you're going to see that other symbol we spoke of earlier, which is the Vesica Pisces. We're going to travel in our Merkaba along this divine highest timeline. And we're going to go through the Vesica Pisces. And when we come out the other side, we're going to close the Vesica Pisces. So the only timeline that remains for you is your divine highest timeline. Allow yourself to be moved through that almond shape. As you move through it, you see yourself be transformed into the divine highest you. Maybe this person's more organized. Maybe you're more disciplined. Maybe this person is just filled with love from head to toe and knows their worth. Your life is safe and secure and beautiful, and exactly as it is for you. In your idea of divine highest timeline. Now it's time for the global meditation part. And we're going to do this process for Mother Gaia, for all life, and where it is sentient, all of that life gets free will and free choice. So it will always only be what is in the highest good of all life. Once again, we are going to join together, and this time, instead of us shining the light upon our head, we are going to shine pure source light through Mother Gaia, from top to bottom, through every lake and ocean and river and stream, through every mountain, every rock, every stone, through the dirt, the mud, the sand, the clay, through the trees, the plants, and all the life that is upon her back. Pure source light all the way down into the core of Mother Gaia. Up into the sky, it surrounds her in this beautiful bubble of pure source light. And we're going to hold her here in that beautiful space while she is cleansed of any illusions and distortions, anything that was done in false, in manipulation. We cleanse that. We allow Source to cleanse that. We allow it to clear the air and clear the sand and the soil, to clear the water, to clear the food, to clear the plants and animals, and to clear and cleanse all the lies and manipulations. All those contracts that were made without informed consent are free to be released for all, because they are false contracts. We release them now. As Mother Gaia is cleansed and healed, we're going to send that beautiful flower of life through her into all the souls who are open to receive. In no way are we violating free will. It is only what is available for those who are looking for it and seeking it, who are ready to receive it, whose higher self knows that that is in alignment with them and their mission and is not violating their free will. That is what we allow to pass on. That's the healing we give. That's the divine, original, organic blueprint that gets seeded into that soul. Because it's aligned and it's time. As each one of us focuses on the emotion of peace, we're going to send that to Mother Gaia and to all beings that are looking for peace. By us sharing it now, we are making it readily available for all who are seeking. Next, we're going to focus on the emotion of love. We are going to send that emotion to Mother Gaia and to all beings who are seeking it. As we are all connected here today, We're going to share that connection, that unity consciousness, that what I do for me impacts you and all of life around me. And the same goes for you. We'll remind everybody that is seeking to feel unity. We'll remind them that it is here and it is present now. Allow them to feel that they are connected to us in this moment. And next we are going to call on divine truth to clear the illusions and lies, the manipulations that have been sold and told time and time again. Once more, for those who are seeking the truth, for those who are asking for clarity, for those who want to see what is behind the veil, for those asking, it will be provided through this meditation. Now we're going to place Mother Gaia in her own Merkaba. See this beautiful golden Merkaba spinning faster and faster and faster. And as it does, it places her in a protective field where no interference can occur. She is filled with peace, love, unity, and truth. We're going to ask that Source reveal the divine highest timeline for Mother Gaia and all of her children. And see that reveal before you as a beautiful golden stream of light. And once again, we're going to move Mother Gaia along that light until it goes through the Vesica Pisces out the other side. We can move it now. And as we go through to the other side of the Vesica Pisces, it closes, sealing off all distorted timelines, all manipulated timelines, all timelines made in lies and made in distortion, all tied to a false matricy, to AI interference, or fallen watchers. All those timelines are closed for good. Mother Gaia is on her divine highest timeline. Now I want you to come back to you, to your feet, to your seat. Take a breath in and out. Bring your awareness back to your heart. Take a breath in and out. Place your hand on your crown. Take a breath in and out. And open your eyes and welcome back. Now let me know, how did that feel? Hi, Carol. Welcome back. I think that was a really good one. I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. We're going to do that every week. Keep repeating it every week. Okay? Every Saturday. Perfect. I'm so glad you made it in just in time. It worked out so well too. Because now I have lots of time before my appointment. So I don't have to worry about being late. Because I was like, I'm gonna have to keep my head in the game. So it's perfect. Nice. Well, I will take the meditation portion, and I'll share that on my YouTube and Facebook channels, so you can watch that again. For those of you that are watching, please like, comment, share, do all of those things. That's appreciated. If you're not following me, definitely follow me. And I go live, just to give you the schedule, I go live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. That's where we do the celestial briefing. So we look at the energies that we're going to be experiencing for the week based on true sidereal or the living sky. So if you go to theskylive.com, you can verify anything that I say about the transitions that are happening. So you can validate it, you can verify it, but it's the living sky. So we talk about that. We also just have conversation about spiritual practices and, like all kinds of different things as well. And healing, awakening topics but the focus is going to be looking at our energetic layout for the week. That's definitely the focus. On Wednesdays, I go live at 7:30 p.m. On those lives, it's all about spirituality. So it's embodied wisdom, because we're meant to embody our, the spirituality. Like we're meant to embody our spirits, or our spirits are meant to be embodied. it's a body and spirit thing. It's not one or the other. And then Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain. So those are the 3 days that I go live. You can always go check out the website, because I have groups there. I have a free group, Temple of Light, free. And I go into more depth on a lot of the stuff that I share across my other channels, or across all the channels. Then I have the Balanced Self Sanctuary. This is where we are supporting you on your healing journey, helping you return to self or balance yourself. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a healing journey. It just has to be for people that feel like they're maybe overwhelmed or, dysregulated or scattered, fragmented, those types of energies. One, so you have a supportive environment and know that you're not alone. And two, because we're doing a lot of practical stuff. So you learn practical tools like breath work and somatic practices and things like that. And we talk about the nervous system, and we help you with, nervous system regulation, so on and so forth. Lots of stuff in the Balanced Self. Then there's the Embodied Leadership Circle. That's the other group that I have. And the Embodied Leadership Circle, that's for people who have done the healing portion and they're on just they're doing the awakening stuff. So this is about just spiritual leadership. This is about how, it's about a lot of things. It's about a lot of things, but it's about being an embodied leadership. So you can check those out, but you can also check out a lot of the other things that are there too. What would you check out? What would you check out, Carol? I know you would check out stuff. Because there's readings. Carol recently checked out Return to Center. That's what Carol did. Carol checked out Return to Center, and it was awesome. And that's just 10-day self-paced class that I have, where it gives you practices to return to center. They're just small little practices. You have to be able to find a way to carve out a few minutes a day for yourself, to just have to yourself with no devices, nothing. I love it. I love that you loved it. That's awesome. Alrighty. Well, I have an appointment in less than an hour, and I would like to go and have a little break before that appointment, and also to allow myself to cleanse the energy from this and clear my energy for that. So I'm going to hop off here, but I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Like, all times are Mountain. And if you need anything between now and then, go check out my website, send me an email or send me a message or book a free call. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. All right. I love you guys. I had to end this one first up here because these ones make noise. Thank you for watching.